Alright, very quick video in this one. I literally just watched the WandaVision season finale and I thought, you know what, I just gotta give my thoughts as fresh as I could. It's perfectly possible that my opinions on this show overall and on the season finale will change through time. I mean, it often does. Like I said in my thoughts on video on WandaVision, although I was only talking about episodes 1 until 7 and not episode 8 and of course not episode 9, I enjoyed the show overall, but back then I thought the show made a choice that made the entire premise extremely generic and lose all of its emotional value. Namely, I thought Agatha Harkness was the one mind controlling everyone and, you know, creating this alternate reality and not Wanda. And I thought that was a very insanely stupid plot twist. Luckily, however, in episode 8 that turns out not to be the case. Episode 8 is probably the best episode of the entire series, because there's only gonna be one season. Definitely, episode 8 was great. It was extremely emotional, extremely well written as well. There were moments where I thought this is genuinely good, because when it comes to Marvel, especially MCU, we've all gotten used to this typical flow, you know, this typical beat for beat step, this beat for beat plan that you know where everything's gonna go. Not with this series, and that's actually very good, really good. Episode 8, great stuff, a lot of flashbacks, a lot of explanations, and there was exposition. There were explanations, but not in a very stupid and on-the-nose way. And that I love. I absolutely love. I adored episode 8. It made me feel so much. It made me care for Wanda all the more. And I thought Agatha Harkness was actually far more intriguing than I thought. Thus setting up the season finale with a pretty decent cliffhanger nonetheless. You know, Monica being caught by, I guess, mind-controlled Quicksilver. So, alright, season finale. I'm not gonna talk about the plots because I think it just aired and I don't really want to talk about spoilers. So, as spoiler-free as I can, kinda disappointed with this one. It was good, but it's nothing more than that. I kind of feel the same like I did with Endgame. Endgame was so incredibly hyped. It was so incredibly built up. Partially because its predecessor, Infinity War, was so damn good. And took us all by surprise. Not only because of how good it was, but also with plenty of emotional, intense, and also shocking scenes. And I adored that, we all adored that, and that is also a huge part what made Endgame so highly anticipated. I kind of feel the same thing here, because when I watched Endgame in theaters, I was also kind of disappointed, because it felt way too safe. Endgame I still do today, although I really do like Endgame. It doesn't even come close to what Infinity War was, because it just feels so safe, and I have exactly the same feelings with the season finale of WandaVision. This final episode, it feels so safe. Things happen where I think, really, that is the big explanation. You know, motivations are shown. People say certain things about why they did what they did or why they are doing what they are doing, and it felt extremely generic, and it kind of felt the mystery and the suspense and the engagement that was built up over the previous episode. It kind of throws it all out the window. There is a very entertaining sequence. Actually, the entire episode is one big entertaining sequence. It never stops. Without a doubt, the most fast-paced and also the most intense and action-packed episode. And that was to be expected because it is a season finale. Nevertheless, the things that happen sort of become white noise very quickly. You know, it doesn't really feel as much, there's a lot going on, but you don't really feel, I didn't really feel the impact that I should. And seeing how certain characters ended, it felt very rushed. It felt safe. It felt very safe. It felt very safe, and it felt rushed. There is a moment near the end where our main characters meet a certain point, and Wanda has to make a decision, and that decision is being carried out, to say it like that, without spoiling anything. And there is an entire scene of several minutes dedicated to this choice being done. We see this choice actually happening. The show does its best to make it as emotional as possible. And I wanted to feel something, but I didn't really. There was a tiny piece of me that was actually emotionally struck, but the majority of me just didn't buy it. And why is that? Because again and again, they faked us. I mean, there's a thing Marvel does, a lot of superhero movies do, where they show us something and we think, yes, that is ballsy, that is good, that is a risk, and you took that risk, and I love it. But then, like in the next installment, they back down from that risk. And they kind of fake it out, which makes the risk that happened previously lose all its emotional value, just like with Infinity War and Endgame. I really, it's kind of like a deja vu, not gonna lie. Also, the ending of this episode was very rushed. I think there was a very rushed feeling. When the end credits rolled, I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's over. Okay, it's over. There are two credit scenes. There's one mid-credit scene and one post-credit scene. The mid-credit scene, actually, I really liked. It was a very nice callback to one of the earlier Marvel films. I really liked that one. I'm still iffy on the whole Monica character. She's a superhero now, and she, again, shows her powers in this episode, and I just don't buy it. The show did a really rushed and unconvincing job of making Monica a superhero. We only knew... I mean, I don't know, I just don't buy it. I hope that in future films or series of Marvel where Monica returns, because of course she's gonna return, I feel like she's gonna play a very big role in the future. I hope they will convince us to care for her, but at the moment I just don't. I really just don't. But there is potential. It's not like an annoying character that just won't go away and I hate so much. That's not the case, luckily. But I'm not convinced. Also, in regards to how certain characters end up, you don't really know. I mean, there are certain characters who are pretty important to the story. At least you think they're pretty important to the story because they've been on screen so many times, and they just disappear. They just don't show up anymore, and they're just, I don't know, they're just gone. It feels very weird. One particular character just is so pointless. It appears this person is just so absolutely pointless, and you actually wonder, like, what was the point of showing this character when you're gonna do absolutely nothing with it? The post-credit scene, however, that's the last thing I'm gonna say about the episode. The post-credit scene kind of makes me feel that there is no character arc at all. There is a character arc, because this entire episode and the most emotional scene of this episode is about Wanda's character arc fulfilling itself. But then a post-credit scene happens, and you're kind of like, eh? And it's perfectly possible that I completely misinterpreted the scene, but it felt to me like we were back at where we began, you know? It felt to me like we were back at the start, instead of being at the finish line. We were at the finish line, but then we did then we just did a 180, and the post-credit scene showed us something that to me felt like the character arc was wasted, and we're back at where we started. So it's perfectly possible that I just got it wrong, but at least that's what I think. Alright guys, those were my quick thoughts on the WandaVision finale. Again, I really enjoyed watching this show. I think it's a very unique show. I love the certain directions it took. I love the build-up. I love the entire storytelling. I love the concept, but it just baffles me, and it's so annoying that Marvel and films like these and series now keep on taking risks that are great, but then immediately back down from them, and I just hate it. I wish they would take risks. I wish that they would just be ballsy and do the unexpected, as long as it makes sense, of course, and that they would just do the unexpected and actually roll through with that, instead of always backing down from the things they do and always giving us fake out after fake out after fake out. I really hope they're gonna stop doing that. Alright guys, this was Insta, and see you guys later.